Yeah, good morning. So the rooms at this vacant motel here in Tacoma are going to be available for people who are not able to self-quarantine or isolate themselves in their own homes because they're scared of passing the virus on to someone else, maybe even someone they live with. So for the people who are staying here, they do have to meet a list of requirements. One of those requirements, they have to have known or suspected exposure to the virus. They have to be able to perform daily activities without assistance, and they have to be deemed stable to be here. Anyone staying also needs a referral form from a doctor, the health department, or first responders. But public health staff also want to stress the fact that this is not a medical facility.
These people probably don't need hospital care. We just need a place for them to recover and get better. We have an obligation to provide appropriate facilities so that those who are ill do not spread the disease to others in our community.
The Pierce County Sheriff's Department will be providing 24-hour security to keep guests, staff, and nearby neighbors safe. The facility is fenced and security guards will be at the only entrance in and out of the place. If anyone wants to leave before their quarantine is over, security plan to try and convince them to stay, but they cannot hold anyone here against their will. So for everyone who's going to be arriving here, they are going to be arriving on Pierce Transit buses. They will not be driving themselves. Once they get here, they check in, their vitals are checked, and then they're taken straight to their rooms. For now, I'm live here in Tacoma, Kiara L. Fallon, King 5 News.